this is answering the true, correct version as to why Allah, God Almighty, allows Muslims to be destroyed and suffer so much. If, right, they're the ones technically in his religion, even though Christians are, they're following his prior book, the Torah. A lot of these Muslim preachers, these religious speakers, they obviously agree it's due to some sort of sin or wickedness these generations of Muslims are doing, some sort of disobedience that then is giving others power over them. Because obviously, if you're righteous, you're following God's commandments, you are going to just naturally have that blessing from God to always protect your lands, and you're always going to be okay, such as the earlier Muslims were, which is around the time of Andalus, right, as they say it, or Andalut. It's around those times that the righteous were disappearing. And then around the time the Ottoman Empire started, that's around the time the Quran was corrupted. That's it. That's why you have a huge distinct energy and other things that you can sense in your conscience difference between the Ottoman Empire and the people of Ain Jalut and prior. Because those were the righteous Muslims. That's why they had power. They also were advanced in chemistry, science, even going into space. They had so much knowledge and wisdom that today, 2024, they already knew that stuff way in their time. That's a long time ago those people were here. They were so gifted. It was actually those Muslims, everyone, those people of Asia who actually taught the Europeans all the science and math. That then Europeans took it with them, but they don't want to ever tell you where they learned it from. Those early righteous Muslims, they just like to connect it to themselves, because now these Europeans, the sort of ones who started to lie and act like it was their innovation, and to some degree then, right, when they started to go to war and other stuff and steal knowledge, such as destroying Baghdad, right, the huge library, it's the evil non-Muslims at that time, who were technically usually Christian, the disbelievers, right, when Islam was good and pure, who didn't want the truth, version of God's religion, is the evil ones like that, and others who were obviously then constantly going to war with those righteous Muslims. Those righteous Muslims were always winning. They don't ever lose a battle. That tells you something, you know? If going to war is something simple, right? You win today and they lose tomorrow, and then, I'm sorry, you win today and then they win tomorrow. If it's that sort of completely impossible to know type of outcome situation, then you guys would see that. But instead, you notice when the earlier Islam was here, Muslims were always winning battles. They weren't going to battles. They weren't wicked doers. They were always in a state of defense. They were being attacked. Okay, but they were always winning. That's because the Quran back then was a pure scripture. Women were also the reason why they were winning. They were right there in that battlefield. You're not going to have an entire gender erased from society. Just males go out and you become a great empire. Women are always with you. The evil males, evil females are always supporting them. Last time I checked, they agreed to let you harm them. And in great times of righteous men, righteous women are right there. We're a species. We grow together. And evildoers fall together. So just know, when the true religion of God, right? Don't think of Muslim as if you're separate as a non-Muslim. It's just God's religion. The same God of Jesus, the same God, therefore, of that past Torah, that past Quran. When that true Islam was here, it could have had a different name. But when that true version of his religion was here, right, our Lord, okay, the people following our Lord were technically now being labeled Muslims. Okay, they were the ones who had the whole world in their hands. They were innovating. They had all the wealth and knowledge you can imagine. That if those, right, Muslims didn't follow the corrupted Islam, if they didn't disobey Allah, if they didn't disobey their prophet, if they didn't become evildoers and take this filthy fake Quran that the demons came up with only some of the pure words of God in it that's rephrased, if this evil fake Islam wasn't what they ran around with, but they also chose to be good, then God would have blessed them too. It's that simple. The blessing was taken away because they don't deserve it. So it amazes me that Muslims agree that people of the past were somehow good. And that's why God let them rule the world. They also agreed that they were just, that they just let people go free in war. They didn't enslave or kill, and no, they just let them go. And then the people would say to them, "Why? Oh, Salahuddin, oh, so-and-so, why are you saying we should let them go? They're going to come back and go to war with us again." And he was like, "It's okay, I don't care. We cannot control the wicked. That's the way they do things. That's not the way we do things." That's literally what he said. As what people are saying he was quoted as saying. He's saying that's what evildoers do. They take advantage of mercy. But we don't do something bad, right? Because we know evil will come back to us tomorrow. We only do this moment what we're supposed to do. We can't think of the future. That's what he meant. Because he's human, right? He's going to die. If they come to wage war on his future people, how is that then something he should worry about? Do you see how irrational that is? You're not God. You leave it to them. But you know the right thing to do is when the war is over, the war is over. Right? So they were so merciful, not weak. And that was actually something the evildoers also saw. A lot of them changed because of that quality. Because evil is thinking, you're going to kill me. The way, right? They right? They don't know what the example of righteous is. So that's why they rule the world. How can you rule the world if people just come to war with you and you push them off? That's just self-defense. I'm saying, look at my terminology. They rule the world. That means technology, science, math, writing or literature, infrastructure, whatever you think a global, big, right, empire needs. Muslims had all that because that time the Quran was not corrupted. It was a good book. It's not this Islam that has all the fake stuff into it of perversion and sexism and terroristic nonsense, and our religion is corrupted. So that's why. That's why you don't know how to be like those people. But you know they're not like you. You know there's something of intrinsic value they have. You know they have some great value. You know you cannot be Salahuddin. So stop lying and acting like he was just a cool warrior. You cannot be like him because that's your conscience from God, even though you've never met him. And you agree with it, but you don't want to say it. That's obviously saying that's because he was righteous and you're evil. That's why deep in your conscience, you know they're better than you. The betterness is not how to fight. It's the fact that they're righteous. So their fighting is obviously different. It's obviously better for that reason. Versus, right, you just simply learn how to move a sword. Well, that's just a skill. But how could they have large empires? And no one can ever destroy their empire. It's just like that. For hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And you hear about it. They used to trade this knowledge, this innovation, this great intellect, the abundance of knowledge God gave them of all types of academic subjects, right? All subjects. They used to share it with non-Muslims. Back then, the Europeans were sort of had a little bit of the non-Muslims. Europeans were Muslims. It's just some of them, right? Because Christianity was always here. So they were sharing it with others. They're called the Byzantine Empire back then. They're sharing it with you. Why are they sharing it unless they're righteous? It's not these Muslims. We gotta conquer. We got what? I don't know what you're talking about. But these are the dwellers of hellfire. These are the children of those ancestors. These children are the sinners. They're the ones who disobeyed their prophet and all prophets and their Lord. You know? And we should stop using the word disobey for prophets. Because exactly, they're not your Lord. Disobey belongs to God. But I was using that word disobey prophet because they like to quote that statement, disobey Prophet Muhammad, you know? So I was trying to correct you. It's these ones. These ones who see evil in the Quran, evil in the Hadith, perversion and sexism and other weird, nasty, unjust things. If Salahuddin is saying we don't capture people as slaves, we don't kill them, The war is over. We released them. And a human says, but they're going to come back. What are we supposed to do? Let's just finish them off. And he literally replies to you, but that is the actions of the wicked. We are good people. Why would we think like that? That's not who we are. How dare you keep saying these parts of Islam where they say prophets told, this fake prophet Muhammad told you to conquer others. You have no choice. You have to be just like non-Muslims. There's Muslim sheikhs who say Muslims don't want to do these things, but they don't have a choice because then exactly the evildoers will try to conquer and do slavery and rape their females who are weak, obviously, who don't want to fight. That's what they're saying. They're saying they don't want to, but they know that's what evildoers do. They know that's what, they don't even call it an evildoer. They don't even call it evil. They just say that's what humans do when they go to war. So the Muslims should also just do it too, because then they look weaker. What? Do you guys see? Do you see there's pieces of the puzzle you human beings can put together and see Islam is corrupted? Because there's literally Muslims telling you, yeah, they respect Salahuddin. And then they tell you that, yeah, they respect these hadiths that say the complete opposite of Salahuddin. God allows some good to always be there to help you bring the puzzle together. If this was an evil, fake Salahuddin out there, right, that demons came up with, just like a fake Muhammad they made up character, then that fake Salahuddin character would have said, this is just Islam, let's just do it. Maybe they don't do it this time because you Muslims like to act like there's an option. Okay, then the option of the other side would have also happened. At some point, that fake character Salahuddin would also, right, that fake Salahuddin character would also now do it the other way. Now they'd be like, go enslave, go rape. You can't take away the fact that they never had any stories about them where there were two options. They just always released people. They always were merciful. You cannot have two options and always pick one because you're just good. What the hell is wrong with you? If this fake religion that's corrupted today is saying these two options are both good, then okay, if evil human beings were your ancestors, they would have then obviously said, let's do both of these good things. You cannot mix good and evil, that's why. You're the evildoers, they're the good ones. So they always did the other way. You're promoting this way. That's exactly why the Ottoman Empire quickly disappeared. Because that's around the time the Quran was destroyed. A fake Quran, the one here, was here. So it's easy now for non-Muslims to come in, go to war with you. Again, same thing. They've been doing it for so long. But now they actually win. Because it's rational. You're weak. It's finally their turn. Two evildoers fighting. God is not going to put that mercy on you anymore of giving you victory. No one who studies religion is going to believe God just lets things happen randomly. No, God is always on your side when you're righteous. You will always win the war. It doesn't mean he protects you in a way that, right, he makes an unjust balance against them. No, you really are strong as righteous. That's why the other side actually loses. God is not doing something. He's letting you truly show your side. You know, so you actually get the value in paradise one day. You really were brave, wonderful people. Yes, but what I'm saying is, you see, he never lets evil actually have some sort of power over you. He always gives you a chance to protect yourself. He always lets you sort of win, you know? There's still free will. You're still doing the fighting and you're still defending yourself. He's not sending angels down. But it's like you're still the one with the favor. He's still favoring you. That obviously matters, correct? You will always win. So I'm trying to help you understand. Why are Muslims always winning? This fake Islam that says do ABC to non-Muslims and fake females over there, it cannot be that Islam. Because those non-Muslims would not have a positive experience with them. They talk about the horror. Those Muslim females would have suffered. Instead, you hear about peace between non-Muslims who don't agree with your sin. They don't agree with the stuff you talk about in your fake Sharia laws. Non-Muslims don't agree with it. So since they don't agree with it, because a lot of them, right, are more moral than you, those other non-Muslims and these ones are the same. So how come those ones had peace with those Muslims? That means those Muslims are not you. They're righteous. So that's why they got along. Logic is not that complicated. It's logical. They're not you. You can never get along with non-Muslims of the world. If you ever try to spread your fake Islam, I promise you the whole human race will come together and kill you. And God will allow it to happen. You're going to feel he's on their side. You're going to feel like the heroicness on them. And you're going to feel uncomfortable. Because you are the dwellers of hellfire. You're evildoers. Don't be like no one told me. What the hell are you talking about? You're a human being. Your Quran, your Hadith tells you to do evil to others. And you say, okay, and you do it. As if you're a puppet. As if first you don't have to be evil. In order to say, okay. Versus someone like me who was born into this religion. And hates it. That's it. Don't be like, well, we're not really okay with it as Muslims. It's just in our religion. I'm not expecting Muslims to come up with the knowledge that the Quran is corrupted. That requires some sort of guidance from God, some sort of focus. What I expected you to do all these centuries was simply say no to evil in a way that you separated from yourself. Then the sort of quality would have come out of you, where you have no choice but to study history. Now you would have been like, oh, something happened to our book. Oh, look, when they said this about this Baghdad. Oh, when they said the libraries were destroyed. Oh, when they said this empire like that, you would bring the puzzle together like I just did. And a lot of Muslims know that. You're not really that ignorant. You really do know these little hints here and there. Why is there so much war after our prophet? Why don't you ask yourselves? That's when evildoers were possessed by demonic spirits. Humans cannot touch scripture. Only demons are coming. That's when they were constantly starting wars with Asia, that obviously Islam took it over. And some parts of Europe and Africa were Islam. Europeans were Muslim. They're liars. Because these are the evil children of them who will not admit all the advancement they have today, that they keep acting like their race is civilized and Africans and Asians are not. You got it from Muslims. You got it from Arabs and other Asians. You got it from those righteous Muslims. They taught you science and math. Because God does not give non-believers this high-level advancement. He gives it to the righteous who follow his religion. The righteous who follow his religion will be from all ethnicities and all races and two genders. It's just the good people is who he gives this advancement to. When Mahdi comes to be your last prophet, whoever is good and actually is righteous, God will give them the title believers. And they're going to be the most advanced, most intelligent, most powerful people. They're going to have all this advancement. They tell you Muslims in the future, not necessarily Muslims, but humans, right? That they'll find the gold. We're talking about the Euphrates River or something. There's this gold that humans believe is hidden in the earth, but no one knows where it is. Well, probably Prophet Mahdi will show you where it is. And that's why everyone's talking about how everyone's going to be so wealthy. They're going to be like, who should we give this money to? Where's a poor person? I want to give some charity. Why would you even want to give charity? Aren't humans usually, humans who don't want to give charity, people make you feel like you have to? It's because they're good people, so they want to give charity. So it's another way you know good people are in that spokesperson. Because exactly, typical human is not trying to give charity. They're told to do it. That tells you it's always righteous people that's being described when the world in the past or in the future is great. It's not you, Muslims today. You'll have the choice to repent, but you're not the champions of it. The champions are righteous, who never agreed with the evil in any scripture. Good people who many of them, God is hiding them. They don't walk around YouTube telling you what they believe in. But they're finally going to be your leaders. They're going to be appointed as presidents of every country because, okay, a prophet is here, but they're not going to be a president of every country. This is just such a big world. They'll appoint people. So righteous are always going to be born, but they're being hidden. Only at the time of prophets' time. They're not going to be born in times where there's no prophets, because they don't have to be here. It doesn't benefit them to be here. You guys are too evil. You outnumber them. So they need to be born at the time of a prophet so they can work with this person. See how rational it is. They're going to be the companions of that prophet. Okay, and then the righteous, God will create more of them. He'll create humans who naturally are just righteous. Doesn't matter what time. You know, they're not like you human beings, wicked doers. They're just righteous. Okay, and that's after the prophet. So they can then continue protecting that religion. So then that's why you keep hearing about so much war. The war is because the weak ones are trying to corrupt scripture. So those weak ones, like you weak ones today, can constantly say rape is okay. Perversion ABC is okay. Terrorism is okay. So you can just do what you're doing now. Evil ones like you, weak, shallow, nasty males, were doing this before. And those weak females were just allowing themselves to be used. So you're weak. But you can't do such a supernatural thing of trying to destroy a scripture. You're a flesh. The devil himself possessed those males and demons. Put witchcraft on those humans. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're just woo in a horse and breaking Baghdad apart. Humans know nothing. They cannot start wars when prophets are here. So all these battles about Prophet Muhammad are fake. It's just like Jesus. There's no war. There's no battle when you're here because you're a powerful supernatural being. You're stronger than demons and humans. No one's going to fight when you're here. So then that's why you hear about global conquering. But when you hear about the prophet's time, they tell you just Arabia went to Battle of Uhud, Battle of this. But what? What? You should ask yourself, if a war is going to happen, and it's global usually, against the whole religion like Muslims, like the Crusades, right? Then why doesn't something as big as the Crusades happen in the prophet's time? Isn't that more rational? Shouldn't something big happen in your lifetime? If someone's so cool, shouldn't they see the bigger problems? Why would a small little war happen in your time? What? It shouldn't have come from a faraway place instead of your own ethnicity? Shouldn't they be scared of you more? Because they get to see you every day. But those people may have never seen you. They may not know you're strong. So it's not from a place of mocking you and saying this. They don't know you. They've never seen you. So isn't it rational? If someone lies to you and says there's some male over there, let's go kill him, you'd be like, sure, let's go. You don't know that's Angel Gabriel maybe. Like that. If you don't know who they are, isn't it rational to then think something else? So even if someone was going to go to war, right, if there's a fake little weak prophet you think there is out there, then wouldn't it be outsiders? Why the people right next to him who can see him and be scared every day? It's fake. Fake, 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 fake. Also, how come Saudi Arabia doesn't have any sort of legacy? They had a little bit, right? Umayyad, I forgot the other names, but they have a little bit of sort of dynasties they had, little empires. But really, it went to the others. It went to the Turks, it went to Egypt. The other Arabs were really ruling the world. So that also teaches you something. That means the evil came back to his ethnicity. The Saudis became crazy. Even though the Quran was not corrupted back then, right? And the other Muslims are doing the champion work of being righteous and protecting the scripture. They were not champions for a reason. You don't hear about them being the ones to constantly go to the biggest wars, like against the Mongols, the Crusades. You don't hear them anymore, the Saudis, because they're the ones who are just waiting for that Quran to just be gone, so they can go back to raping little girls again like 2024. That's how you know what I'm telling you is true. Put the puzzle together. There's a lot of Arab ethnicities, and people are even saying Iran is not Arab, to just call them Persian, right? Because they're Persians. Just Asians, right? And specifically some ethnicities we would literally call Arabs, right? Or Arabs. Okay, how come the Saudis really just sort of, it's like a race. And that person, right, they're all with everyone, but then it's like they're just gone. They're way at the back of the line. The Saudis are way at the back of the line. They're just gone. Because that's it. It was like a few generations righteous came from them, but then the righteous stopped coming out of them. The righteous now are coming out of Egypt and Syria and over here and Persia. It's like they just spreading. That's it. And that's how you also know God is fair, because he chooses, right, to create righteous. Okay, there's a couple of human beings you can list in a certain time that he wants them to be here to protect his scriptures. They have a purpose. They're going to be the leaders after prophets. Okay, so for that reason, they have a high status. They're just not supernatural. They're great people. So for that reason, isn't it weird if God was to only create them from ethnicity? So that's how you know he's a just God. All of a sudden, these righteous people are coming from Egypt. And then another, right, 100 years, something goes by, a huge war is coming again. Another global attempt to conquer the whole world. Like that. Maybe it's the Byzantine, maybe it's the Mongols, maybe it's this one, maybe it's that one. Whoever it's coming from at any point, God will pick another ethnicity all of a sudden to have the best leaders, the best male, female warriors come out. And you guys are hearing names like Salahuddin, B-Bars, and all these cool names. Andalus, the people there. But you don't know if some of these male names were female warriors. That's another thing also. They could have been actual female generals. That's the other thing you will not argue about anymore. Everything is corrupted. You can't constantly have males, their names mentioned. Right? There could have been the same awesome, great female general with Salahuddin. Okay, fine. That doesn't mean Salahuddin could have been a female that was turned into a male name. No. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm saying that's just at some point what will happen in history. The name they're giving you is male, but it's actually female. Okay, but in this situation, if it was not like that, if Salahuddin was Salahuddin, then that means there was a great woman just like him. Because those were the actual people of God. They were actually righteous. Strong women are going to be created out of the righteous. I said God creates the righteous. I didn't say God creates righteous males. So men and women are always going to be created. Right next to each other. Amazing. It amazes me. Why no one will ever hold these Muslims accountable of today? Why is no one confident? You all hear about the past Muslims. All the things women used to do according to the Muslims today who believe in the most dangerous sexisms. Who believe they should treat a human like a property. They cannot work. They cannot go outside. They cannot travel. They cannot marry without a mahram. They cannot ABC. I need to be with them 24/7. Why are you connecting these fake, weak Muslim females to those righteous, powerful women in history during the Andalus, the Angelud and Andalus period? What are you talking about, you Muslim females? Why you act like you're those females? Not once do you hear about those Muslim males controlling those females. You hear they're building the universities. You hear they're becoming the scientists and where are you going? These males tell you you're not supposed to get a job. They tell you it's not feminine, it's not your nature. What? And those women are building empires with those Muslim men. They were busy destroying women's rights because they're so inferior. They're so jealous and insecure, emasculated males like these ones. How are they destroying the Mongols? What are you talking about in the Crusades? They're destroying them because there's actually two genders working together. You can't do it alone. They're able to have beautiful relationships with non-Muslims. Non-Muslims don't lie. You know how non-Muslims usually lie about things? The evil ones. But they never lie about those past Muslims. They always tell you that those Muslims helped the non-Muslims. That they were friends. That they, right, helped them learn science and math. And they never say to you, Muslims didn't teach us nothing. That was our answer. They never lie. That tells you it's just human nature. You'll speak the truth about righteous people, even if you're evil today. But this human that's doing that righteous act, They will constantly say bad things and lie and just naturally hate the children of those ancestors. If those children today are evil, like the Muslims today, the non-Muslims today, right? They just hate Muslims. They would never give you credit for anything, even if you do something. Because it's that natural hatred, because you're evil, that's sort of working. They hate you so much because you're so evil. And you won't admit your book is a problem. Even though they're the same, they don't admit their book is a problem. But they will never treat the Muslims of the past like you. Have you noticed they seem to respect Salahuddin? They seem to respect those great people. Why are they respecting them? Because they know they were good people. They just know. But they may not have the awakening to be like, yeah, you're right, I know. They don't, right? It's like in their higher being, it's their higher self. Their higher self knows that Islam is not this one. But if you ask them that question, they'll be like, no, Islam was always like this. It's not going to make sense. It's not going to make sense how they answer you. Because you're thinking, if they think this Islam was that Islam, why do they respect Salahuddin? Why would they think Salahuddin did the right thing? It's because they know, but they don't know. God, just like prophets, always lets us love the righteous. He always lets us feel something when we hear their name, because it's that sort of respect or tribute to them, right? That he wants us to feel towards them, because he loves them. So even when there's corruption, even when there's lies, evildoers and good people will always feel this sort of respect towards prophets and towards righteous humans who are not prophets. You're just going to respect people like Salahuddin. You will not just be like, whatever, you know, no matter who you are. Because he really was a great person of morality. The greatness is because they're righteous, they're good, they don't like evil. That's why they win so easily, because for them, it's not about a style of fighting. They're good people, you know? Just like a hero in a movie. He's strong, she's strong because they're good. You would never say good and evil are equal in strength. Okay, but two weak, dumb little armies fighting. Any day, anytime, it could be the other way around. You don't know who's going to win. It's unpredictable because they're both the same. This one could learn a trick. The other one could lose the next day. Okay, but righteous will always win in a war. You'll never conquer. It's just amazing how long the Muslim empires lasted. It's a really long time. But the moment you see the shift, right, which was when the Mamluks destroyed the Mongols, instantly after that you notice there's a shift. It seems easy now to enter their lands. It seems like the Muslims after them, the other empires like the Ottoman, they seem weak. They seem strange. You cannot just randomly get weaker. Because if that's a natural course of life, how God just naturally created things to be, right? Good, weak, strong, weak, like that. Then exactly, we would have had the Umayyads period, strong, right? Then the other dynasty after them or empire, it would have been weak. Like that, it would have been random. We would not be able to predict. But for the Prophet to be gone, all the way up to the Mongols period, and even a little bit after that, I forgot their name, for Muslims to be ruling the whole world without ever losing a battle, I don't mean like specific situation where maybe people didn't have a huge casualty. It just means they didn't lose. For them to never lose, right? And their empire was always winning, all the way up to the Mongols, that's a long time in history to be winning. So there has to be something specific about those people. What is it? What was their characteristic? You can't just be like it's random. Because it's not random. It's not about how you learn to do that weaponry. Those evildoers could have learned it. They're winning because they are righteous people. Good is stronger than evil. That's your evidence. But when humans who are evil are now just taking advantage of the privilege of righteous people, the great empires they've built, these weak, shallow, weak, nasty, perverted, sexist Muslim males come out, regular weak ones like today, and they just live in a great time of Muslims having power. Well, they're gonna go and try to practice their perversion, their sexism, their nonsense, their terrorism, They want to go try to rape the non-Muslim females over there. They want to enslave those people like that. When the wicked doers are being born, and they're thinking they can just take advantage of the power in this empire and go just for fun to do wickedness, conquer those people. Those people now, God will, in order to help them, see how fair He is in that way. In order to help them, He'll make these ones lose. God will let those ones know what to do in order to actually win. Because don't obviously attribute anything that in that moment came from a place of self-defense. You, even if you're evil, if that moment you were doing the right thing, you were defending yourself, you're always going to attribute that to God. He helped you. He helped you know when to attack that bad person, that enemy, correct? But when two evildoers are killing each other, okay, that's their business. That's their free will. You're not going to connect it to God when one of them beat the other. No. But when evil is coming to you, whether you're good or bad, and you win against the evil, you're always going to supposed to praise God. Because, right, they could have won. So then that doesn't mean when evildoers win that we connect it to them, but when good win, we connect it to God. As if then strong people have no personal victory of their own. No, it's those humans still did it. They still won. We just mean good comes from God, but evil doesn't come from Him. It's just the free will He created. Two weaklings, two evildoers, you're never gonna know who's gonna win. Correct? It's just they're using their own brain to just like a wrestling. They're just trying to figure out how to win. They punch this one, that's it. And don't visualize the nasty, perverted wrestling you see on TV. Because that's homosexual wrestling. You know what they do, those nasty males. That needs to be abolished and is going to be destroyed when the truth returns. Not through force or people being taught to stop evil. But obviously, right, you're just going to abolish it in places where people want the truth. They actually agree to be believers. They're going to abolish it in their own countries. You're not going to force anything on people who don't want God's religion. That type of abolishing. It'll be abolished in places where people want to follow, right, the true, pure religion of God in their country. Okay, but if those human beings want to be non-Muslims and, right, they want to continue that, no one's going to go and do anything to them. You're just going to keep calling them to morality. Just fist fighting. How about that? It's like that. You can't predict it. But if someone is righteous, you know they're going to win. We don't have to predict anything like that. We don't have to be scared as an audience watching that. We know who's going to win. Good people are going to win because they're stronger than you. It's not about muscles. It's about character. So this is another hint that the Quran is corrupted. This huge time in human history where Muslims are literally powerful, not like other people, right? Like the Mongols, who also then started to take control after the Muslims became evil. Now they don't get to win. Now they're invaded. The Mongols take over. We're not talking about that. Because the Mongols then will also say they also invented stuff. Yeah, but they're thieves. So anytime you say to yourself, the way you say things is actually very nice. I like it because it seems like God is on the side of good. But then how come evildoers always say when evildoers actually conquered good environments, right? They conquered people. Then how come you don't conquer people, you just conquer their land, right? You're abusing people. You get the point. When evildoers are taking over lands, then how come, since God, right, doesn't love them, why do they seem to have innovations? And it's not them. This is how I defend good. This is how I protect you from such wicked mentality. Don't let demons attack your mind. They are innovating, everybody, usually using good people that they're abusing. They're just making them do it like slaves. Two, they stole. There you go. What does the invader do? What is usually the first thing they do? It's not really killing, right? It's usually theft. They first try to steal the land. They try to steal the wealth. The killing just happens in the process if we have people trying to stop them. But if there's no one who's trying to stop them, don't they just steal first? Then they try to, abduct and try to do rape and other stuff. Okay, but first they're trying to take the wealth. Okay, the sort of blessings of the land. Whatever they're jealous of. They're just thieves. Okay, so there you go. When you're destroying that, right? When you're destroying all these places of knowledge, all these books that those humans had, that human beings keep telling you every day, if they have it today, we would be more advanced than anything you could imagine. You know? That's what I'm saying. The evildoers destroyed it, correct? Why would they destroy everything? That means they took some books with them. That means they took some stuff. And then that's why they start to act like they invented something. I always remember when I was in high school, middle school in the United States, studying about Byzantine empires and just European innovators. I've never even studied this part in Islam. I just remember hearing about European innovators of chemistry, science, math, almost every subject of STEM, right? STEM. All I heard was a European name. And I kept saying to myself, what? We have three species, three races, Asians, Africans, and Europeans. Why are these American schools constantly teaching me Europeans invented all this stuff in modern times? That's irrational. Exactly. They're liars. They're thieves. The evildoers of the European are stealing this knowledge from Muslims who are Asian and mostly Arab, and they're stealing that knowledge. And now they're acting like they invented it. So it's their little time to play around. The evildoers who are constantly trying to destroy the pure Quran, when the righteous are gone, and now they come back to war again, and the righteous, right, when they're gone, their children who are wicked, dumb kids, who grew up to be loser adults like the Muslims today are in those countries. Now these wicked doers are thinking, yay, we can take over, because these are evildoers. They're not like strong. It's really so a fair battle between us. We'll probably win. God is angry with them anyway. We'll win. And they win. Now they take your books. They go to their countries, usually Europe. They erase from knowledge that Prophet Muhammad ever visited them. They erase from history. He obviously taught them Islam. That a lot of them were Muslim in the past. They erase from history. Then all the righteous empires after Prophet Muhammad, how much they protected and inspired and taught Europeans and Christians and non-Muslims overall, all the knowledge God blessed them with. So they shared their knowledge with you. That means they're righteous. They didn't say this is for us. No, they're righteous. They shared it with people who don't worship God. They didn't say things like, well, of course God is good. We have to be nice. But at the same time, we don't have to. Those are non-Muslims. They didn't. They said, my brother, come here. Let me teach you something. You know, a prophet came. That means the leader of the world came. A supernatural being came like Jesus. He taught us great things. That means now we're the gifted ones in this world. You guys are not. Let me share this with you. Even if you don't want to worship God, let me teach you what I know. Let your empires also grow like mine. They're so loving. They're so merciful. They're not thinking things like, what if these ones get better than us? Because that's not a feeling of strong people. Do you agree? That feeling of inferiority belongs to a weak person. If you're a healthy, good person and you're hardworking, you're not inferior to other people. You don't think they'll just take over. No, you know, if you're the righteous, if you're strong, evil human beings, you can teach them the blessings God taught you. They're never gonna be better than you. You're righteous. That means God just naturally blesses you the more good you are in character, in morality. God blesses you with wisdom and intellect, artistic abilities. So since you're gonna be blessed and you're just naturally blessed, why would you be intimidated that evil human beings, if you share something with them, they'll somehow take over and not be better than you? You don't even believe that in the first place. Because evil human beings, their mind is inferior. Their mind is weak. So when you then see rapists and murderers, weak human beings, right? Imagine committing rape. How can you then wake up the next day and study a math book? I've always used to ask God that question. How can a human rape and kill and then go outside and actually learn a subject? Like, isn't their mind going through so much darkness? How can they actually focus on what they're reading? That's your evidence they're stealing it. They're not learning anything. And they're usually using good people. That land, they're right. You can't harm good people, but you can at least control their land. But they won't let you rape or kill them. Okay, they're just using the good people in that land they conquered. They're saying to them, hey, that scientist over there, you teach us this. You build that big, university. We'll just act like we did it. Like that. We the Mongols. That's what they'll do. Something like that when they come back. Well, the Mongols were defeated. I mean, like when they sort of came back again to try to take power. Like that. They're using others. They're not using themselves. Just like all the evil presidents today in the world right now, in all these evil countries, they're dumb. So if you're like, why is their country so cool? Because good people are doing those cool things. Good people are the science teachers. Good people are building their country. A lot of good men are sometimes going into the army. But then they'll see wickedness when they're being called, right? When the army is being called to just go invade innocent people. Now those good males disappear. They obviously exit. Now the rapists, the murderers are left. The weak ones. Like that. It's not that hard to understand how evil human beings, since you and I would agree, that's not rational. If you're evil, your mind is weak. And also your mind is filled with darkness. You can't study and read and do good things with your time. Right? You commit rape and murder. How can you wake up the next day and build a big country? That's your evidence they didn't do it. One, they stole the knowledge from actual countries they broke down. Two, and that country had that knowledge because of righteous people. There you go. So our logic has fulfilled what it wants to fulfill. It wants to see only good is blessed. Yes, they're blessed. They stole the blessing when the good is no longer there to defend their land. They're gone. And their children are here who are weak, losers, which means immoral humans. That's the only way to be weak as a human, being evil. So this other evil one, just like you, can take over, obviously. Especially when you're distracted. Because, right, you're so used to your great righteous forefathers winning and controlling the world. You, the ones who are born to them, who are evil, sadly. Exactly. You don't have that sort of drive like the other ones who are also evil to sort of learn to fight or do. You don't. Because you live in that privilege. They have been dying to have some control over these beautiful places like that. So that's why then they seem like they have more drive to fight than them. So these ones didn't really fight before. They're the children of them. You get me? The children of those good people who are no longer here. They don't know what's going on. They just think everything's going to be like this. That's how you know they're dumb. Shouldn't they be preparing for that? They would if they were righteous. But the evil one is thinking they're always going to come back. Even though they died. Even though those ancestors also died. It's because that's how your evidence the demons are possessing them. Because how do they keep coming back? Even though their forefathers who were evil like the Mongols were destroyed and killed and others just died. Naturally, right? When they retreated and were allowed to leave. It's so irrational. How come their children are back a few hundred years later? That's how you know demons are possessing these human beings. Because how do they keep doing the same thing their forefathers did? How do they keep going back to wars with people they personally never had a problem with, but their forefathers did? They're possessed. They don't even need to know that their forefathers did that. The demon will just make them inclined to just want to bother that group over there. They're puppets to demons. You're just following their agenda. So that's your evidence. God does not let evildoers ever have power over good people. You will not defeat good people. Never. Never. It's when they're gone and two weaklings, two immorals are fighting that you never know who's going to win. This one will win this time. That one will win the other time. But then this weak one, this dumb, deficient one who only thinks about rape and murder and harming others, losers who have no built blessings from God. You can't be like, how are they building empires? They didn't build nothing. They stole the knowledge and they used good people that were in those countries that were being abused and controlled and conquered. They made them build it. Right? Just like the Europeans enslaved Africans. They made them build the country. They're always using good people. It's exactly what you think it is. A bad person cannot do these great things for. We all don't like it when we hear that. Mongols? Are this? Are that? Like we hear evil humans having wealth and power. It makes us sick to our stomach. As if God would bless them. They're not being blessed. That blessing belongs to moral people. It's just that they're using good people. An evil president right now in this country can go attack a country over there. It doesn't mean, right, those human beings are in his control. That they're harming. No. Good people are strong. It just means the country is in this president's control. Like it's his country or something. As if he's the president of it. You know, it's not his country. He's not born to it. I don't mean it's his country as if like you actually own a country. You know what I mean? Like it's not his country. It's not his land that he's born to, like your ethnicity, right? And he's not the president of it. It's another land he stole. Okay, but good people are still there. Decent people are still there, right? They're just trying to live despite that torture. They're using them to build the country, the infrastructure. They might bring them the books and be like, build it. Like that. Just like Pharaoh and all wicked human beings. They use the normal good people in that society to always maintain the country. Just like the United States, good people every day, hardworking people are maintaining this country. And the crazy ones and the evil, weird presidents every now and then that pop up are just simply taking that privilege. They're not building anything. All they do is write a policy. What do they ever build? How do you build anything? Presidents are figureheads. Okay, so those who conquer lands are also figureheads. They're not smart. I'm sick of that. I'm sick and tired of that nonsense. That's why it makes you uncomfortable when you hear that. Evil, rapist, murderers conquering a land, and humans saying, oh, that land became so wealthy. Whoa, it makes all of us angry and want to curse ourselves. We want to literally not worship God anymore because it's not true. We feel that way because that's our conscience saying that's not possible. God would never do that. He wouldn't mix blessings with evil. No, normal good people in that country are being told to work. And they're building great things. And this one is just a figurehead. He's not bombing them, you see? So they don't mind just their country either way, right? They just building it therefore. To them, it's just their country. And and how this wicked figurehead then can act like, there you go, he did it. But where did those books and that knowledge come from? He stole it from the Muslims. But see, I don't like the word Muslim because you're just going to think Muslim, you know? Just the people of God, which involved Christians, Jews, and others who always joined the pure, Quran that our prophet was given back then. Oh, the good people back then who followed, who came from all these religions and atheism. The believers. Blessings are only given to them because exactly, that's their reward for being good. Every generation, the righteous keep coming out of them. Great leaders. When they're gone and God will not create another righteous group, now evildoers who are these weak, and that's why I keep calling them weak also. The other part of weak, lacking any sort of creativity. You notice these countries who usually come to war with a great empire, everyone. So for example, this time when the Muslims were great, right? Because they were moral. The ones always trying to invade them, like the Mongols, you see, they didn't have any advancement themselves. They didn't have any great empires themselves. They were just simply, they just had armies. It was just about fighting that was large, maybe. But you get me, they didn't have the greatness of an infrastructure. They didn't have the greatness of all the areas of knowledge that you have as a society when God himself blesses you, right? Teaches you great things. Teaches you new ways of poetry and writing and science and math, archaeology, history, astrology. You know, when that knowledge, that's how you know. The ones always invading those who have this stuff. You guys agree with me? They don't have it that time. When Europeans were usually trying to conquer others, usually Muslim lands, the Europeans were dying from lack of creativity, innovation. They had no knowledge. They had no innovation. They were weak and empty as an empire. So that's your evidence. God doesn't bless you when you're evil. That's exactly, we would all be hateful of that because we know it's unjust. He doesn't bless them. They steal it. But even if you stole it, is this evil rapist murderer who's only thinking about raping people going to sit down and read a gigantic science book and become a great? No. So how do they do it? The people they're conquering, their lands. They're using those good people. They're just not righteous. You know, righteous means they're going to come out and kill you. They're going to go to war with you. They're going to destroy you even if it's just 20 of them. So you see, I keep using righteous, everyone. I keep using good because there's two types of human beings who are on the good side. Righteous and then just good. They're just good, but they're not strong in that sense. They're not like warriors. They're not brave. They're woo, you know? They're just good. They're a bit weaker, you know? If one righteous person comes out, they're all gonna join. They're that army, you know? So just a generic good human. And again, it will still be very low level good, not even medium, because then even they would fight with you. Okay, they're just in that country, they're just living. It's them who are being used to do all the labor, to build the infrastructure, to learn the science. It's their children who are being trained to learn that stuff. And they obviously gonna just use that as a credit and say they accomplished it, those who conquered them. You didn't accomplish nothing. And obviously that also means the good people in their own people, right? Their own ethnicity, their own countries, right? The good people that were already there. The decent humans that were just there. They're not evil. They're not predators. Who are already, right, from their countries or their lands. They're also using, they're using them, right? The hard work these humans just naturally are doing in those countries to also claim as their own. And that's what always disturbs me. How a country, right, what complete individuals or society is doing, it always disturbs me how humans, when they write in history, they always link it to the president. Why are you linking a president, a whole country, how great it becomes to him? Aren't the humans the ones who learned all those subjects? Did he become a scientist? Aren't they the ones who learned it and built the country? Versus a righteous person that's actually intelligent and smart and gave them the tools to make such a great country. No, like these figureheads keep getting linked with the success of hardworking people in their countries. And that's usually then when war starts. Those people get pissed off, you know, with these figureheads acting like that over them. Never giving them credit, acting like a god over them. At some point, humans get to a point, right, where exactly now the usually civil war starts and now global. It's a pattern. The pattern repeats because demonic spirits possess evil human beings. They always do the same thing, therefore. So you, the good human, in your natural state, the way God created you to respond to evil, you're also going to behave the same way to them. You're not a robot, but you get to just, you have no choice, right? They put you in defense state. You're always going to then fight or respond a certain way. And now, okay, then the cycle really will repeat, right? So the good people in the country of those who are trying to conquer others, and the good people in the countries that they're trying to conquer are always being used to build all the great empires that these evildoers, right, who are actually going to war to rape and kill, keep acting as if they build it, as if a rapist, a murderer could build an empire. Disturbing, right? No, good people are building the empire. They're just controlling the lands using guns, right, and acting as if then they somehow innovated and came up with it. That's how injustice happens. That's how they lie. Because that's just the quality of evil, right? Acting fake dominant, acting like something and someone you're not, right? Always acting like you have the qualities of the righteous, the qualities of prophets, the qualities of a god, the qualities of angels. It's always your opposite, right? The good, that you're always acting as if you could do what good do, even though you're evil, as if evil can be successful and accomplished like good, right? No, evil human beings can only do a job, right? They have a brain. You can tell them to be a cashier, fine. Maybe they can be a cop in the sense that they just simply learn a couple of rules, have a gun. No, that's not bravery, that's nothing, it's just a job. But actually being a hero, actually being a leader, actually being artistic, actually all this stuff belongs to righteous. But then when you also see in daily society very filthy, perverted, nasty, disturbing human beings like homosexuals and others, but maybe they're good at singing or something like that, it's that same thing again. It's one, they were good that they had those blessings and now they're evil. God doesn't take it away from them, but it's still gonna be a blessing that doesn't make you great. See, like singing, it doesn't, singing doesn't make you great, but leadership, right? Being extremely gifted and wise and knowledgeable. Okay, that is something that a predator cannot accomplish. Their mind is dark and nasty and filthy and filled with perversion. So that is when they're using others who are not like them to accomplish great things in their environment, and they, the one abusing them with a gun, will act like they built it, because that's the injustice they're committing. Lying, acting fake dominant, acting as if evil can do what good can do. There you go. Basically, my point is, it's never going to be real artistic. It's never going to be real knowledge. It's never going to be real innovation. It's never going to be the actual great things that good people accomplish, right? Evil human beings, perverts and weirdos. We wouldn't call them predators to others in that sense, right? They're not, for example, you know what I mean? Let's just say it's maybe some homosexual male like that. He's a predator to himself, and another one who consents to that, like that. They're just gonna be able to just do behavior that is just like the ones that those evil males in history could do. Just something they could be made to do, like labor, you know? Go pick this up, go like that. Something that God obviously still allows humans to still function, even if they're rapists and predators, right? As males and right as females, these weird ones always seem to help them with that, right? They like to act like they married these males and are still with them, and they don't ever go against them or do anything. You know what I mean? Whatever right, sort of ability you think someone has today, who's obviously a heavy sinner, right? Like a lot of singers in the U.S. and these sort of countries, usually are becoming homosexual out of nowhere, random like that. But are they singing true art? Are they singing songs that? That's what I'm saying. Look at the time they were producing such music. They were not homosexual, okay? They weren't in that evil. But then, two, when they're still able to sin, for example, and they became that now pervert, there you go. It's not something that dishonors God in what they were able to do earlier. It's just singing. Versus the type of artisticness that we would say should belong to righteous, right? That, right? Someone with morality would have that type of art. Well, it's not that one. It's not that one. It's just generic singing. It's just generic drawing. But gift, right? Innovation. The mind being so gifted that you start to ask if they're a robot. That's only going to be given to people who are good. God is not crazy. I'm sure you're thinking that, right? I'm sure you're thinking, how come a lot of human beings are very filthy? They have some blessing. Exactly, but what is the blessing? It's not a real blessing. Oh, someone who said that's not a blessing. Raising your voice like that. It's nothing. We're talking about bravery, greatness, right? Conquering people from a place of you taking over lands. That doesn't belong to evil. That doesn't belong to good human beings. No one conquers nobody. But they know how to destroy you trying to conquer other lands. That bravery, right? That way of fighting that no one has ever seen before. That what you would say is great, and what you would say an evil human should never be given as a blessing, always belongs to good people. But just generic, basic behaviors that we would not say is bad behaviors, good behavior like singing, drawing. Okay, this evil human might have that ability. But what is it? It's useless. It doesn't have any moral value. It's not something that scares us that they could do it. It's nothing. You know? There's many types of art God created. It's not the art that's great. It's not the art that's connected to intellect. It's not the art that's connected to being great. It's just taking a pencil and drawing a little monkey. You know? And I just told you, even that one you would say to me, but that's the one they shouldn't have also. I agree with you. But they had it before they were evil. So God is always giving you a blessing when you're good. If they became evil now, he just allows them to continue that little basic blessing. But not the big, not the greatness. That belongs to righteous. So it's, who cares? Let's just let it go. And you were still asking me, why does still God do that? Even if it's a tiny basic blessing. Right? Just like obviously we would agree, he also he gives them the blessing to just eat and drink and not die. I know. But we would still agree God should still not give them any blessing if they're evil, right? Take it away from them, right? Just they become forgetful of everything like that. You know why, everyone? Why there's that basic blessing he still lets evil humans have the ability to do basic qualities of skills? Is because it's a test for them. One day when they die, they're going to be asked a question. Were you not giving blessing A, B, C? Were you not maybe good at singing this, that, like that? Were you not maybe good at... And they're going to say yes. And they're going to be asked, how dare they, right? How dare they use those blessings to do evil? How dare they use those blessings and act like God didn't give them those blessings? How dare they have such blessings, but they became evil? You know? How dare you become a homosexual? How dare you become this? How dare you become a rapist? How dare you become this terrorist soldier that joined that crazy army over there? How dare you become wicked? Any way, shape, or form you became wicked when God gave you blessing number 1, 2, 3, like that. Some of them you would agree God creates a lot of people who are not ugly, right? And they become evil, like that. Does God instantly make them ugly as a punishment? No, right? So then that's their test, everybody. That's how God can say to them, basically, that they had something from him as a God. They had something. And there you go. God is not crazy. They had that when they were okay, when they were not evil, So it makes sense to us either way. They were good when they had it in that sense. They weren't good, right? We wouldn't say good becomes evil. They were just normal. Let's say that. They weren't corrupted. So then now that they're evil, they're filthy, they're losers, they were okay, right? They're disgusting human beings. Okay. It's like that blessing is still there as a way to basically remind them, just how evil they are. And you were still asking me, why does still God do that, even if it's a tiny basic blessing, right? Just like obviously we would agree, he also he gives them the blessing to just eat and drink and not die. I know. But we would still agree God should still not give them any blessing if they're evil, right? Take it away from them, right? Just they become forgetful of everything like that. You know why, everyone? Why there's that basic blessing he still lets evil humans have the ability to do basic qualities of skills? Is because it's a test for them. One day when they die, they're going to be asked a question. Were you not giving blessing A, B, C? Were you not maybe good at singing this, that, like that? Were you not maybe good at... And they're going to say yes. And they're going to be asked, how dare they, right? How dare they use those blessings to do evil? How dare they use those blessings and act like God didn't give them those blessings? How dare they have such blessings, but they became evil? How dare you become a homosexual? How dare you become this? How dare you become a rapist? How dare you become this terrorist soldier that joined that crazy army over there? How dare you become wicked? Any way, shape, or form you became wicked when God gave you blessing number 1, 2, 3, like that. Some of them you would agree God creates a lot of people who are not ugly, right? And they become evil, like that. Does God instantly make them ugly as a punishment? No, right? So then that's their test, everybody. That's how God can say to them, basically, that they had something from him as a God. They had something. And there you go. God is not crazy. They had that when they were okay, when they were not evil, So it makes sense to us either way. They were good when they had it in that sense. They weren't good, right? We wouldn't say good becomes evil. They were just normal. Let's say that. They weren't corrupted. So then now that they're evil, they're filthy, they're losers, they were okay, right? They're disgusting human beings. Okay. It's like that blessing is still there as a way to basically remind them, just how evil they are.